Hello, Cookie here, and I'm here to go over the events of Chapter 4 and take a deep dive. I was really intrigued by this chapter and the group of refugees that we did meet. Before we talk about the refugees, let's go over what started this chapter off. The chapter starts with Takt reading the Twinkle Star and them discovering a recording device. It contained the research of the Spare Dolls researcher, Professor Von Ellis. Takt then, with the approval of Administrator Hilde and researcher Dominic, he goes to the streets of Berlin to learn more about that professor. He does run into Valkyrie and they do pair up. Soon after they pair up, they run into a group of refugees called the Terror Front. The Terror Front rejects the idea of entering Symphonica and they are determined to fight the D2s on their own, even though their weapons won't work against the D2s. This is what opens up the concept of the human ego in this chapter, that portion of the human personality which is experienced as the self or I, and is in contact with the external world through perception. Factions and many post-apocalyptic works are created due to the individual desires of the population after experiencing the world prior and after the disaster. The members of Terror Front act the way they do because they feel they need to take Earth back with their own hands. They have a love for the starry sky and a desire to defend it on their own terms. They do not want to just hide and wait for admission to Symphonica like the other refugees. Another part of this can be tied to how music arts are all female. The members of the Terror Front that we meet are all male. It can be assumed that another reason for their futile fight is because they do not have the option to be on the front lines officially. They cannot become music arts, and we still do not know the requirements to become a conductor. The only other way to be on the front line, we've only seen recruitment, like for example Lenny and him getting recruited by Sagan in the anime, and then Takt, he's only a conductor because of the events of the anime and what happened to Cassette and her becoming Destiny. He is only now an official conductor under Symphonica. So for the Terror Front, their only way to fight the D2s on their own is the way that they are now. And they are okay with that. They would rather perish under the sky that they love than just hide away in the cryostasis pod and wait for that day. And that might be the reason why, in the eyes of Symphonica, they do not understand why people would refuse to join Symphonica and stay out on the surface where it is extremely dangerous. Though we do have individuals like Valkyrie who respects the warrior spirit that the Terror Front has, despite the recklessness of their actions, and we do see Takt being supportive of the group throughout the chapter. Now, when the D2s arrive in the area and Symphonica is alerted, Terror Front members are seen fighting the D2s. Of course, Valkyrie and Takt rush out to save them with their fellow music arts trailing behind. They do get to the group in time to defeat the D2s, but one of the members of the Terror Front does perish from protecting Takt from a surprise attack. This is an example of the mission Terror Front coming true. The chance to fight and give their life to aid in the reclaiming of Earth, which is why the man, as he passes, does not regret what he did. He says that he has had enough time. It fulfilled the sense of self that he had in this post-apocalyptic world and protecting that starry sky and falling underneath that starry sky as well. This loss also opens up a sea of things for Takt to think about. He does share with Valkyrie that it feels like he's experienced this before. Now, he may not know what it was, but this was the 4th time he had lost someone right in front of him. The very first time was with his father passing as a child. The second time was with the passing of Cosette at the very beginning of the anime, his childhood friend. The third was his mentor Lenny and that fight against Heaven and Hell and Sagan. Understandably, Takt dislikes this feeling, though does have a different reaction this time. This is maybe due to the short amount of time that he knew the man. But we've seen Takt in the past react explosively to his losses. For example, in the anime at the very beginning, we see him crying, playing the piano, just trying to release all of it, like this huge explosion of emotions. Then when Cosette perished, when she arose as Destiny, you just see nothing but rage in his eyes. But this is a rare moment where we get to see Takt sit and think about what he's feeling, what just happened. He's able to sit and digest. Whereas in the anime, everything was going, it was nonstop. Never outside of the passing of his father, he didn't get to process fully what was going on. When it came to Cosette, Destiny immediately came, and then it was go time. He didn't get to really sit and think. With Lenny, soon after Lenny died, next thing you know, it was time for that final battle and going after Sagan. No time to relax, and soon after the battle with Sagan, he fell into his coma. So this is the first time in a long time for Takt that he gets to sit and kind of think about the emotions that he's feeling and actually being able to talk about it as well. Since before in anime, Takt did not talk about what happened at all. When his father passed, he shut himself up in that garage that was soundproof and focused on the piano. When it came to Cosette and Lenny, he was just focused on the battle, so he didn't really get to talk too much. There was a moment that he did get to give little pieces to Destiny, but this is the first time that soon after something happened, he's able to express himself, which is super refreshing, and I'm super happy for Takt for that. Overall, this chapter was pretty fun for me to dissect and think about, so I do plan to make more of these story videos so we can have these discussions and go over these themes. I'm starting to really enjoy the story so far. I'm already somewhat into chapter 5 at the moment, so I'm going to go all in for that and maybe put a couple chapters together, since some chapters are just a continuation of what happened directly at the end of the last chapter. So when it comes to those, I'll probably combine them. But for these standalone chapters, sort of like this chapter here, just one video for that chapter seems to be enough. But again, if you want to see those videos, if you want to look at more of my older content, if you just want to see more Takt OP Symphony videos, please consider giving a like, comment, or subscribe. But that is everything for today, so have a good day, you guys. そしたらシュッといってドーンズカーン